Welcome back. So now we have a running Angular app. Let's start actually using it. Now we're going to clean all of this out. But before we do it, I just want to show you that out of the box, they're actually giving you a couple of good links like CLI documentation, which is nice because then you can go and actually see what kind of commands you can run in your Angular application. If you want to check that out, you can check out the serve, the test. But I think the most important one that we're going to use in this video is going to be the generate one. So when I click that one, you can see all the different things you can actually call to generate components. This lesson, we're going to try and generate a module. We're going to try and generate a component, and we're going to try and generate a couple of interfaces right away. So you're already going to see some of these different commands that you can actually run right here. And again, if you want to check them out, go and check out the CLI command. There's also a few commands down here already added for you on how to build, on how to test, on how to add dependencies and stuff like that. So you can go and check that out. And then of course there's a Learn Angular link right here as well. But let's scrap all of that and get started with our application, which is going to be just a simple Angular app that's going to, for now, just list all products because that's the feature we're doing. Jumping into the code first, what I want to do is start by cleaning out what we already have. So I'll jump into the app component right here, which is kind of the main component of our Angular application. Go and check out the tutorials for our Angular's own page if you want to figure out more. But this is like the default way of getting started with Angular. Now, one thing I want to do right away is I want to jump into my actual Angular JSON file right here, and I want to actually change something in here because whenever I create files, I don't want the prefix to be app. I want the prefix to be app Innotech because that's going to be the name for my company that I'm going to work for right here in this case. So app Innotech like this, that's what I want every single component that I build to have as a prefix right here. So I just added that in my system. Another thing I want to do is I want to jump into the component, app component right here, and just clean out everything. Like this, everything is gone. I just Control A or Command A and just delete everything. And then the first thing I want in here is a route outlet. Now this is the place that we are going to route to, meaning that this is where we're going to show each individual page that we want to show in our application. So it's going to be like a main routing system right here. And here we're going to pass in all the different components individually whenever we need them. And a component would be like list all products. So we're going to pass that into this route, and then it'll show that individual component in our system. Another thing we have down here is an app module. The app module is where we are going to later on start adding things like the HTTP client and everything we need to in order to communicate with the backend. We have the app routing module. The app routing module is where we're going to set up routes depending on our system. And the first route we'll do is actually to do a routing for our products module that we're going to build in a second. The final thing you have right here is a test file. You don't need that for now. I'm not going to do this test driven. Sorry, but I'm not going to do that right now. I want to move forward as quickly as possible right here. And then we have a CSS file right here for styling. And then we have a component file, which is for us to kind of work with the system. And we can just, for now, get rid of everything in the component file. So it's just a very simple file. Just, again, the app component is just going to be like our main configuration component. That's what it's all about. It's going to be the place where we're going to get started with our Angular setup. So that was kind of just a quick overview about what we're going to work with right here. We're also going to talk a little bit about these environment files later on as we move forward. And of course, we're also going to talk a little bit about the index file. But right now, as you see it, this is where the Angular part starts. So the rest of it is not going to change that much. It's just the main index file to get your application running. And this is actually the file you're seeing whenever the system starts. Now with this in place, we should actually, if we go back to our application now, we should just see a blank application like this. Let's try and open the developer tools. You can either right click and say inspect element, or you can command Option I on the Mac. You can press F12 on Windows. You can press Control Shift I on the Mac. There are a lot of ways to get to the developer tools. And just check the console that there are no errors right now in the console.